Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Tyler from Podcast Now. This is the Pirates of the Caribbean Community Series. Now, we had a video planned for today, so that's going to be in 2 weeks. I told Alex, you know what? We really need to put this video out because this news just dropped yesterday. And so we learned it's not good news. It is not good news. And it's not what any of us were hoping to see. That is for sure. And we learned that Pirates of the Caribbean Reboot, or Pirates of the Caribbean 6, none of it was really confirmed. But the Pirates of the Caribbean, either 6 or Reboot, they lost their writers for the next movie. And they were the writers of Deadpool, which did fairly well. They wanted to, and remember, you might remember, the quote that they said was they wanted to basically give the franchise a much-needed kick in the pants, which I would agree with, Alex would agree with, I know he would agree with that, and I know some of you would agree with that too. And I've said, look, if you've listened to us on the community series, you've heard me say a couple times, and you've heard me come up with some ideas for what they can do. And I have said, if they continue down the route that they're going, was Pirates of the Caribbean 5 a improvement? Yes, it was. But was it enough? It wasn't. Not for how movies are nowadays. They're all very... I feel like Thor Ragnarok comes to mind. Black Panther kind of comes to mind. They're not that they're lighter, but they are in a way. They're way more colorful, way more cinematic, which Pirates of the Caribbean it used to be, but it's gotten away from that. But in a way, they kind of started that, if you think about it. But it just, movies now have become more of like a spectacle. Even Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I know that was animated. I absolutely loved that. That was incredible. So I guess what I'm saying is what we get now from movies, if you look at that, then you look at what we get from Pirates of the Caribbean, or last Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and then you were to make a direct sequel, it would have its own feel, yeah, but is that really what it needs? Not really, because it's still making money, but it's in a way it's a dying franchise. So they do need, I guess what I'm saying is I agree, and they do need a kick in the pants in order for it to continue. Now, whether you want it to be with Jack Sparrow or Johnny Depp or not, and we talked about that, whether you want it to be a full, if you want it to be a full reboot, is it a soft reboot where it's still the same universe, maybe it's just a few years later, or maybe even a few years earlier, same universe, everybody's still kind of there, you can still say their names, you can still just say Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones, Barbossa, but it's just different characters. Is that what you're looking for? Is it a hard reboot or a full reboot where it's completely, totally new? And the best way to look at that would be the original Spider-Man trilogy to the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy. Those are completely different universes. Sony said, we're done with this one, we're starting a new one. That didn't work, but that's totally unrelated. So that would be the example, obviously, for Pirates of the Caribbean. If it was a full reboot, literally you can't say Jack Sparrow. I mean, he doesn't exist. It's a whole new everything, whole new ball game. So really, it doesn't matter. I'm talking to you guys. It doesn't matter what you wanted, in a way, because whatever their plan was, whatever these writers had planned for this kick in the pants for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, they were hired by Disney to do this. They're done. They essentially gave up. We don't know why they gave up. Did they feel that there's no hope? Were they not getting enough money? I don't know. Did they have a vision that Disney didn't like? Was that vision with Jack Sparrow? Was it without Jack Sparrow? Did Disney have a vision that they didn't like? That's more likely. That's my opinion. So I guess, again, it doesn't matter what you were hoping for, because right now, you can hope all you want, we're not getting a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That's the current status. Disney can want a Pirates of the Caribbean, either reboot or 6, but if they don't have writers, then it's essentially, right now, Pirates of the Caribbean, the the continuation of these movies is on it's on hold, and it could be on hold for a couple years. That's the bad news. Unless we get news in a couple of and really think about it, we don't really get Pirates of the Caribbean news very often at all. Never have. So to get news, let's say in May, that would be shocking. We literally might not hear where we originally thought we'd be hearing something this summer, like an official announcement, which they probably also thought they were going to be doing that. Don't expect that at all. And I hate to say that, but that's just the truth. Now, could something happen? Like I was saying, like could maybe in a month or 2 or 3 or 4, could they get a new writer? Yeah, all that could happen. But it just feels like Disney has, I don't know, it just kind of feels like they have different priorities right now. But the strangest thing was for a little while, when we did have a little cluster of news, like, is Johnny Depp out? Oh, he may be out. And, there's new writers and they want to give it a kick in the pants with a reboot. So we had all that news. So it's like, okay, so Disney's going all in because then Disney canceled a couple Star Wars movies. So Alex and I were like, okay, well, that means that Disney sees Pirates of the Caribbean as something more important than Star Wars, which that's a pretty big deal. And again, they still may think that, but if they don't have writers, if they don't have anybody that's really willing right now, and maybe all the really good writers are tied up, that's the issue. It sucks, because now it's just like, you don't want to, because Pirates of the Caribbean 5 did well. For the most part, it did very well. Some fans liked it. The majority of fans did. They got new people back, into it. So you don't want to have a release date for another movie to stay relevant. You don't want it to be like 6, 7, or 10 years out, like basically like we just had. But if they don't get somebody soon, and you can't just rush it, because if you rush it, then the quality might not be good, and then you're shooting yourself in the foot. So you see what I'm saying, you guys? Like, they have to get somebody who's a really good writer that can do justice to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Again, whether it's reboot or a sequel, that part doesn't matter. And I know you guys don't like hearing that, but it just doesn't. And the more than likely option is it will be a full reboot. Probably not even a soft reboot. It'll be probably a full reboot. So it's just, that's what we're looking at. And they can't rush into it because it's the future of their property. That's what Pirates of the Caribbean is. It's their property. It's what makes them money. They're not going to put in millions and millions and millions of dollars just to basically kill it, commit franchise suicide. They're not going to do that. So as of right now, I myself, Tyler, Alex could say what he feels in the comments section. He wasn't able to do this video today because it was too quick. But I would say don't expect a Pirates of the Caribbean announcement this year. Don't expect Pirates of the Caribbean, that whatever the next movie would be, out in 5 or 6 years, because these movies take a lot of time, that's not a positive, that's a hindrance on the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Unfortunately, this isn't the news that any of us really wanted to hear as Pirates of the Caribbean fans. So again, we'll be here in 2 weeks. Not really what we wanted to hear. Pirates of the Caribbean essentially is delayed. Could be a very, very long time now until we get another Pirates of the Caribbean film. We'll be here in 2 weeks. Check out that video. It's going to be basically about you guys, what you guys want us to be talking about for this community series. And we really will be listening, and we'll be taking into consideration every single comment. So definitely check that out, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.